What's up, everybody? It's Bal for here today, or Flab, whichever you guys prefer. Anyways, welcome back to my channel, and I am back with another video for the Stab League Season 3. I did, it's been a while since since I posted a video. Uh, during Season 2, I was going up and down saying that I was going to be uploading. However, not realizing how much of a big load I was going to have at school. In real life, stuff comes up all the time. Everybody knows it, everybody goes through it. But here I am again, back and ready to upload, and hopefully, you guys will enjoy this video today. Um, Currently, I'm going to be showing you guys my Season 3 draft for the Stab League. This is definitely a team that I'm very, very proud of. But for those of you who don't know about the Stab League, it's run by our commissioner, Stab. Uh, pretty awesome player, very talented guy, super cool friend, and I mean he's been a great commissioner in this league, and he's definitely one of the people that reflects the a lot of the values that the Stab League looks for. Um, and as you know, just to tell you guys a little bit about the Stab League, I know Stab's brought it up a couple times already that the league prides itself in, giving unknown players and the opportunity to be exposed to the limelight, which they otherwise would not have access to with some of the more minor leagues. Um, and the Stab League is absolutely full of very talented and knowledgeable people. Uh, there's definitely hasn't been a time where I've asked for help and nobody's not responded. Everybody's always absolutely willing to help. We're a very tight community, and I think that's definitely important in especially in the Pokemon community. We need that support, and I'm glad that the Stab League definitely has that. Um, and they're definitely always willing to teach the next generation of players. So we definitely want to keep on in doing that. Most importantly, the Stab League is all about the fun, and it's all about the competition too. There hasn't been a dull moment in the Stab League for sure, for sure. So I certainly hope you guys do stick around and check us out more frequently, and I mean, hopefully, we'll just get some more attention as it continues to be a thing. And also, just a heads up as well, during Season 3, we have the honor of facing some very talented trainers. Trev and Jolt joined us for this season, and I'm very happy and very honored for the opportunity to play against such legends in the community. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. For this league, we decided to do an Uber's draft format. Um, so it's definitely a new ground for me. Haven't really messed around with the Ubers much. Pretty much the only exposure I've had to them was last season when I was, messing around with Kangaskhan, and we all know how that turned out. Um, but I mean, but we're just gonna have access to a lot more Pokemon this season in that format, and I'm very excited to play around with some of them. Um, but yeah, let's get right into it then. Um, so just to explain some of the rules for the Stat League, so you guys understand what's going on here. So for the Ubers, we separated the Ubers into two tiers, a gold and a silver tier, and each player was allowed to draft one Pokemon from each of those tiers. Um, However, there were also some megas involved in those tiers. So you had your gold megas and your silver megas. And the first round of the draft was to pick our megas. If we wanted to pick up a gold mega, we would be skipped for the gold turn of the draft. And same thing with the silver, silver tier megas. Those guys are they're pretty solid. They're pretty solid megas, very huge threats. Um, and originally, I was going to go with the plan of picking up a lower tiered mega. As you guys may or may not know, I'm not. I usually try and pick a more defensive mega. Uh, That's what I like to play as, just bulky teams. But as you'll see this time around, I picked up some weird mons that I don't have much experience with, and it's definitely a different play style for me. But you know what? I'm always open to trying out some new things, and who knows? Maybe I will just kill this season. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers for that. Um, but anyways, um, yeah, and just some goals that I wanted to keep in mind um, for this draft was definitely to build a better team than last year. Some of you may know last season was just an absolute disaster. My team had absolutely no synergy. It had no business being out there. Um, I mean, I had some pretty okay mons, but if it does, if there's no support, I mean, they might as well have just been being played by a 5-year-old. It was definitely a difficult time for me, trying to win matches. And another goal that I wanted to do definitely was try out different Pokemon that I haven't played around with. And with this draft, I definitely accomplished that. So I'm very excited for this. And the other thing was like trying out a different styles of battling, different team styles. Uh, I love my bulky teams. I love Pokemon that can take the hits, but at the same time, I've never really messed around with something like a hyper offensive team. So I definitely need more exposure to those things, and I think this is an excellent opportunity to do that. Um, but yeah, I mean, let's definitely get into the draft, and hopefully you guys like this team that I you know I definitely got some help building this team for sure. So I want to thank everybody that did help me out. Uh, so yeah, let's get right into it. So so originally I was going to go with a Slowbro or a different Mega, maybe a Mega Scizor. Unfortunately, Mega Scizor was sniped pretty early on in the draft, and I had several plans going on all at once. I definitely was not going to make the same mistakes that I made last season. So I definitely had several plans uh, going, just in case certain megas were sniped. However, when it came back to me, when it was my turn, which by the way I was third to last pick for the mega round, uh, and hey, guess what? We had this amazing Pokemon left over named Mega Lucario, and there was no way I was going to pass up on this. Um, Nowhere in any of my plans did I have Mega Lucario chosen. So that was definitely a big surprise for me. Um, so yeah, I mean, not sure how I acquired it. So I mean, but at this point, once I grabbed it, I basically just threw all of my original plans out, and surprisingly, it was a much smoother draft for me, not as stressful. I guess when you don't have a plan, you can't really get sniped. But I mean, Mega Lucario is just a monster. It's decently fast. And it has access to a ton of different moves. And then with Usum, it now has access to Meteor Mash, which is an amazing plus for this Pokemon. And it comes with the added benefit of also boosting its stats a little bit. Um, so definitely has the potential to do that. And so I won't be relying on Iron Tail the entire time. So I at least have a very very powerful uh, physical steel move to use there with Meteor Mash. So that definitely makes Mega Lucario an even bigger threat in this draft for sure. The other thing I really did like about Mega Lucario is that it has the capacity to come in as both a physical and a special attacker. Um, I think it was back in season 1. Jim drafted a Lucario, and yeah, I mean, Jim absolutely showed us how versatile a Mega Lucario can be, or sorry, a regular Lucario. So just imagine how much better Mega Lucario is going to be in that front. Um, and it's got a great ability and adaptability. and increases its stab modifier by 2, as opposed to the original 1.5. That's huge. That just makes it even more powerful. I mean, it has an insane attack stat of, I mean, I don't even remember what it is, but I think it's like 145. Yeah, I mean 145, and I mean it's still pretty fast. 112. It's at a decent speed tier, and then 140 special attack. Like I said, I mean it can be used to take on a variety of threats, and I absolutely love that. I love that it's not just stuck to. I mean, it's going to be my wall breaker. It's going to be my attacker, but at least I can, my opponent's never going to know what I'm going to be bringing in. So that's awesome. That's fantastic. And then, I mean, if I have to pick up some, weak special attack moves, I at least have adaptability to fall back on. So that's going to help out a lot. Um, but the issue with Mega Lucario is that it's going to need a ton of support for this team. So I did learn from that mistake from last season with Mega Kangaskhan. It had no support whatsoever, and that's definitely going to be different in this draft. And I think I did cover most of the bases, if not all of them. So definitely let me know, guys, in the comments. I always want to hear feedback, other some strategies that you guys might come up with, or some flaws that I absolutely missed during this draft. That would be greatly appreciated. Oh, and just to also get this going, I know Stav does it sometimes on some of his videos, and I definitely want to keep the thread up. I want to keep the trend going. But out of all of this, out of all the teams that are in the Stab League, or sorry, not the teams, the Pokemon out of the Stab League, which has been your favorite so far? Definitely check out the other trainers. I should have links to their YouTube channels posted underneath in the description there, so definitely check those guys out. You have a plethora of sorry, I'm trying to use fancier language here. You just have a ton of other people, just much more talented people than me. So you guys are in for a great season in the Stab League. Anyways, but yeah, Mega Lucario, just a monster. Next, this meant that I was skipped for the gold tier round because I picked my gold tier Mega. I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt a little bit missing out on some of those gold tier mons, such as Rayquaza. I was a big fan of Rayquaza. In fact, it was in pretty much in every single one of my draft plans. But anyways, like I said, those were thrown out, so those don't even matter. Anyways, next is Darkrai. Darkrai is much needed support for Mega Lucario. It takes on those ghost types that Mega Lucario is gonna have some issues with sometimes. But I mean, partially I picked it up because it's a strong mon. It's so fast and it's really strong, and it can take on some threats that Mega Lucario will definitely have some issues with. With a 135 base special attack, 125 speed, access to Bad Dreams, I can definitely rack up that chip damage. So that's definitely much appreciated on this team for sure. And like I said, that speed's gonna come and help out a lot. I know, like I said, Mega Lucario is pretty decently fast, but it's still in danger of getting outsped by a lot of things, especially now that we're throwing in the Ubers in there. So it also takes on the psychic types, and there are some pretty big psychic threats in the Ubers Megas, the Mega Mewtwo's, even regular Mewtwo, Mega Metagross. God, it's ridiculous. So I definitely needed to keep an eye on those guys, especially that Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo X. It's by far definitely the most threatening Pokemon. Out of all the Pokemon for this draft, Stab's gonna be a hard one to take down. And like I said, it can rack up that chip damage with Bad Dreams. So it a lot, and that will just give my other bonds an opportunity to come in and maybe sweep the game, sweep the matches, sweep the mons. So yeah, I mean it's just really strong. Um, and I mean, like I said, I have the option of making it one of my Z users, but it's very unlikely just because I feel like I can get a better benefit if it can hold the different item consistently. And as you'll see, there are other mons that are better suited for as my C users. Um, but yeah, I mean, Darkrai, excellent choice in my team. I think fits very well. Um, next up we have Tapu Koko, uh, a new mon that I haven't had the opportunity to try out yet. It's no Feeny, but it's still definitely one of the better Tapus. As you guys know, I absolutely am a huge fan of Feeny. I know, I'm the worst, but you know what? It's okay because Feeny is babe and Feeny is wonderful. Unfortunately, like I said, I think at this point it was already had already been picked up by somebody. I don't even remember, but Tapu Koko definitely is the better choice here. It fills the role of the fast electric type, which is definitely mandatory. And it has access to Volt Switch and U-turn, which a lot of my mons are going to appreciate a lot this season. Um, Definitely, that's a great way to keep up the momentum in matches. Um, and it's also number two of my as part of my core. I mean, I already have a very threatening steel type, and now I'm gonna have an extreme, a fast and dangerous fairy type. Um, so definitely, guys, watch out because I'm coming after y'all this season. Uh, and I mean, it's similar to Lucario. It has the capacity to be both a physical and a special attacker. But unlike Lucario, it does slightly, or not slightly, but it does favor one form over the other. Excellent speed base at 130. I think the only other Pokemon that outspeeds it without choice scarf is going to be Zero Aura, which at this point it's the fastest Pokemon out there. Um, so that's definitely going to be that's something I'm definitely going to have to keep in mind here. Zero Aura is definitely going to be a big threat. Um, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure I can take it on. Uh, but we'll figure that out when that time comes. Um, and I mean, and it also comes with the added benefit of not only getting its regular stab boost on electric type moves, but it also, I mean, but electric surge buffs them up even more, and that's fantastic. It gives Volt Switch a little more power. Um, it's going to make a lot of mons weak to weak to electric types. That much more scared to come in on Tapu Koko. But like that, definitely Tapu Koko is not something to take lightly. Um, especially uh, especially if it can just clean right through your team. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I mean, it checks a lot of the Uber threats that would otherwise come in on some of my mons, such as and I'm totally gonna be butchering the name here, Yvelta, whichever, whatever. Um, so at this point I don't, so it's gonna have to be something that's gonna help me out a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tapu Koko was one of the few mons that came in for every single match. But we'll see. It also has access to Nature Madness, which is absolutely one of my favorite moves. Especially early on in the game, you can just wreak havoc with it on your opponent, especially if like they don't have much to check Koko, which I mean they probably will. And then like I said, electric terrain, yeah, prevents sleep, so that's one less thing I have to worry about with my team getting sleep induced. However, yeah, it doesn't go well with Darkrai, as Darkrai, in order to take advantage of its ability, its opponent is, the opponent needs to have one of their mons asleep. But there's different ways to work around that, so I'll definitely be utilizing a lot of those. But yeah, anyways, let's move on here. Next up, we have Kyurem Black, which is also another mon that I have just been absolutely waiting for so long to be able to use. Usually always one of the first few mons gone in the draft. Uh, Surprisingly, I was able to pick it up on the second round of the normal bond draft, which was very surprising. This is the point where I've come, to realize that maybe Mega Lucario is my lucky Pokemon. Um, I mean, I was able to grab Coco. I was able to grab Kyurem Black. Like these are mons that are huge threats. And I mean, Kyurem Black is nothing to laugh about. Um, and like I said, it's another big threat that completes my core. There's my dragon core. Um, and it's a fat mon. What is its base HP is something like 125, 130. I can't remember, but it's high up there, so it can take a couple good hits there here and there. I mean, not to mention it's 170 attack, 120 special attack, 100 defense, 95 special defense. Overall, stat wise, it's pretty well rounded. Um, and I can also take advantage of having both physical and special moves on it, or just heavily use one over the other. And it just has it has a great ability to take on some of the more bulkier mons that would either levitate or thick fat. Terravolt is just an amazing move there, or excuse me, ability, not move. um, but I'm very excited to try this mon. Uh, and it's got a ton of resistance thanks to its dragon typing, and it has the bulk to take advantage of some of them. Uh, that ice typing does leave it weak to a lot of things, but I think I got things covered up, patched up pretty good, so I won't have to worry too much about that. But definitely something to keep an eye on. And I mean, just looking at these stats, it's absolutely one of my Z users. Same thing with Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is another one of my Z users. Um, but then, you know, we start looking at my team, and so at this point in time, my team is looking a little. So I got one Pokemon that can take the hits, and I have three attackers that are just some of the most fragile Pokemon, and my bulkier mon. I mean, it's more useful as a wall breaker than it would be as a defensive mon. Kyurem Black definitely shines as an offensive mon. So I'm definitely not going to take that away from it. So I needed to start coming up with ideas as to what Pokemon are going to fit well in my team, that are going to be defensive but aren't going to slow down my momentum. So this meant looking for mons that had access to things like U-turn or Volt Switch. So that was a little bit tricky. And one of the ideas that I had was using Lando, either Lando I or Lando T. But of course, those are very popular mons. So I didn't expect them to hang out too much. My luck can only run so far. So this is the instance that I thought, well, maybe Gliscor is a good fit for my team. And in fact, it was actually, and now that I think about it now, it definitely was the better, more optimal choice over Lando over the Landorises. But it brought much needed bulk to my team, access to reliable recovery, in the form of I believe it gets roost, and on top of that, it also gets toxic heal, or sorry, not toxic heal, poison heal is what it was, I believe. Sorry guys, I'm gonna butcher a lot of the names here, but yeah, I believe it's poison heal. Anyways, you gain an eighth of your health back every turn, and that's I think leftovers is like 1/16. So definitely more passive recovery, great passive recovery there. And like I said, it's much needed bulk into my team, and it's both a ground and an electric immune Pokemon, which definitely my team is going to appreciate, and it has the capacity to play both a defensive and an offensive role. Not at the same time, unfortunately, but I can definitely tailor it to the needs of my teams per week if I decide to bring it in every week. And it's also a slow U-turner, which I absolutely needed on this team. Lucario's gonna appreciate that. Literally, all of my mons are going to appreciate that, especially the frail attackers. Um, so that's definitely going to be great. And I mean, and it's I can't believe I've never used Gliscor before in the past. It's great. I absolutely love it. And then on top of that, it also has defog. I absolutely need this on my team, especially if I'm going to have Kyrie and Black. We are not making that mistake again. We are going to have defoggers. We are going to have hazard removers. We definitely do not want to get screwed over here. And then on top of that, it's also a rock setter. So there we go. I already have rocks ready to go on this team with Gliscor, and that's definitely going to benefit my team. Get that chip damage in there, get them as close as possible to like just come in and sweep with whatever mon that I have that's just going to come in and sweep it, whatever team I'm facing that week. So that's definitely appreciated. And here I am talking like I'm going to be like the champion of the Stat League Season 3. Like I said, definitely some tough opponents this season. I'm excited for it. Definitely excited for it. But watch out, guys, because I'm not going to make it easy on you people. But anyways, Gliscor definitely an excellent choice. And next up we have Milotic. Guys, again, I'm going to be butchering these names. Anyways, this is the mandatory bulky water pick. I've definitely noticed that in other teams and other leagues that I've been in, sometimes I don't draft the bulky water type, and I definitely end up suffering for it. So definitely Milotic was a great choice. Milotic was definitely a great choice for me. It's a mon that I've never used before, so that's good. And it's one of the few water types that comes with reliable recovery, which is definitely much appreciated. I'm also a huge fan of Toxapex, especially because it has regenerator and it has recovery. But I think at this point in the draft it was already taken, and Milotic was definitely another mon that I was eyeing. Stab definitely pushed me into getting this Pokemon, and I'm really glad that he did. But anyways, one of the things that I'm gonna appreciate a lot is that it punishes my opponents for using defog. It's gonna be great for teams that are gonna fear rocks, that are gonna try and come in and remove that. I believe, I can't remember what defog activates. I believe it was competitive. Yeah, it's competitive that it activates. So it increases its special attack, I believe. Yeah, it increases the special attack by 2 stages. So that's pretty awesome, and I do appreciate that, especially since Milotic doesn't really have. I mean, it's got a decent special attack stat, but it could be better for sure. Especially if I'm going to be using it as a more of a defensive role. I very likely won't be investing too much in special attack. So the fact that it has the capacity of increasing its special attack is great. So definitely you don't want to defog on this guy. But anyways, it takes on special attacks better than it does the more physical moves. So I mean, Gliscor is my physical attacker. This Milotic could potentially be my my specially defensive Pokemon. So it has the capacity to do that. But I mean, it also has the ability to take on the physical moves, especially if I take advantage of Marvel Scale, which boosts defense by 50%, I believe. So that's awesome. So Milotic, I mean, I've never even realized how great of a mon Milotic was. And it also has access to Haze, which is going to be much appreciated, as I get the feeling that a lot of people are going to try and set up on me. They definitely will have opportunities to do so. So at least Milotic can come in, maybe take a hit, and reset those stats. So that's going to be awesome. And I mean, it's also a Scald user. It's, it has the potential to burn those physical attackers, um, especially some of the bigger threats and Ubers. So yeah, that's definitely going to be important. It has the capacity to, wither down the opponent. It's got access to toxic, um, so that's always nice. Toxic recovery stall. I mean, I know it's a cheap move, but I mean, you got to win somehow. And it's just another mon that just adds on to the bulk on the team, so that's definitely appreciated much more here, especially with a bulky water. Um, so at this point, I decided that I also wanted to do a fire water grass core. That's always nice to have, especially especially if you can't really bring in your Dragon Fairy Steel core. But this next pick has nothing to do with that, which is Necrozma. I couldn't pass up on the opportunity of Necrozma at this point in the round. It's another new mon for me to play with. It has the capacity to threaten Pokemon that would otherwise wall it. It's got access to Power Gem, take on the flying types. One of my other favorite ones, Heat Wave, for those pesky steel types. It's definitely a Pokemon that's not to be taken lightly for sure. And it's capable of becoming really strong. Especially if I decided to bring in a store powered Rock Polish, Calm Mind, I don't know, something along those lines. But store powered can definitely kill. I mean, it's definitely walled by those dark types, but I mean, I have Coco, I have Lucario. They can definitely take care of those threats for Necrozma. That it can potentially come in and just sweep as well. I mean, it's a great Pokemon to play a defensive role, especially with Prism Armor. So that just gives it an even better, it makes it a more defensive Pokemon, and I like that. I definitely like it. My team appreciates it. It's one of those few mons that it can stay in and take a few hits, but it can also dish them back. So that's definitely greatly appreciated. It's not just going to be something that just sits there and just soaks hits. So that's good. The other reason I picked up Necrozma is because I wanted another rock setter on my team, and it has access to rocks. So if I need to Gliscor and Necrozma can switch off. So that's great. Keep my opponent on their toes. So it's definitely good to have that extra slot there or that extra mon for rocks. And I mean, it has access to a great move pool. It can be tailored to any situation. It can be tailored to take on several Pokemon. And it acts just extra support to my team too, with Toxic. I'm not sure what else. There were a few other support moves that I can use. Thunder Wave, Trick Room if I ever decide to do that, but at this point I don't think my team is good for a Trick Room set, unless my opponent just has like way faster mons than what I bring in. But yeah, I mean, overall Necrozma is one that I'm excited to try, and I've seen it used several times in different other leagues, and it's been amazing. It's been a great mon. Anyways, let's continue on. I'm sorry guys, this video is getting really long, but I promise I'm almost finished. Next up we have Entei. Entei is definitely a Colorado Aggrons favorite. So I wanted to pick up Entei. It was one of the few fire Pokemon that was left that was still pretty good. I mean, Darmanitan was there too, but I definitely wanted Entei just because it has access to Sacred Fire, which I think is like 50%. It has a 50% chance to burn the opponent, which is greatly appreciated. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that one, and it's such a strong move. And I mean, Arcanine may hold the popular opinion, but definitely Entei's power still makes it a huge threat. Um, I do miss that lack of recovery though that Arcanine has. Um, but I think I got some decent mons that can take a few hits for it. Um, so I don't think we'll have much of an issue there. Entei will definitely, at the very least, come at least in every single match that I bring it in, will make a huge dent on my opponent. So it's definitely a powerhouse. It has access to extreme speed, which is so that priority move is definitely appreciated. Like I said, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of my Pokemon are in the 90s, low hundreds speed base speed tier. So a lot of Pokemon can come in and still outspeed it naturally, or you know, get outsped by Choice Scarf fairly easily. Um, and I mean Entei and the issue I did find with Entei is that it's a pretty predictable Pokemon. Uh, Most of the time, my opponent can probably guess as to what setter moves that I brought in on Entei, uh, and it can, yeah. I mean, it's pretty predictable. I'll admit that, but you know what? We're still gonna use him, and we're still gonna have fun with Entei. Entei is definitely um, much needed power on this team at this point. I think I might have overcompensated the defensive mons here. But anyways, and it takes on the steel types more effectively, so that's Necrozma's going to appreciate that. Tapu Koko's going to appreciate that. And it's got a great HP stat at 115 and pretty decent speed at 100, so it's not bad. I know Entei gets a bad rep sometimes, but he's good. He's absolutely a favorite. Anyways, next we got Rotom Mo or Rotom C, whichever you guys prefer. Um, it was a so here's a few of the reasons why I picked it. Partially due to its grass typing, its access to defog, which is pretty great, and I'm pretty excited for that. That's another hazard remover on my team. Now with the addition of Entei, uh, getting those hazards out is definitely going to be important. So I'm really happy that I have that option there. It's another slow U-turner, so again, the team definitely appreciates that, especially some of the more fragile Pokemon. And that that electric grass typing gives it overall pretty good offensive and defensive qualities. Um, and with Levitate, it's an electric type that's immune to ground and most hazards, so that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna love having that around, especially switching in on those ground types with with Rotom Mo. So be careful, ground types. And it's got excellent defensive stats, shitty HP, or sorry, I apologize, crappy HP. Sorry for the language there, guys. Um, and it's got an excellent, it's got excellent defensive stats, so that's pretty good. Um, both special defense and defense. So I can definitely tailor it to cover up patches on my teams for every week if I can bring it in. But I mean, it can also cause huge amounts of havoc with its 105 base special attack. Not the best one out there, but still pretty up there, pretty decent. So it's I think that Rotom Mo was definitely a good find in the draft. And it also has access to a bunch of supportive moves such as Will-O-Wisp, Burns, and Toxic. I absolutely am a huge fan of those moves. So, and they're definitely going to come in handy this season for sure. Um, Next up, we got again another butchering of the name, Cofagrigus. Um, it's a more defensive presence on my team, and see, as you can tell, I feel like at this point I just overloaded my team with defensive mons. Anyways, it's definitely a much needed ghost typing, and it's another Pokemon that takes on those psychic types more effectively. My steel type in my team that's resistant to or sorry, I have a steel type of my team that's neutral to psychic moves, and that would be Lucario. So definitely having Kafagrigus on my team is definitely much appreciated. Obviously, Lucario can't take on a lot of hits. It can maybe, I don't know, I don't haven't done the calcs, but I'm sure it can survive a hit or two from a psychic type. Um, but I mean, you don't want to put Lucario in that situation. That just it's a complete waste. So I definitely want to give Lucario much more support here. So Kafagrigus is definitely was a good pick at this point. Um, and it's defense. It's I mean it's got a pretty crappy offensively. It's pretty crappy. But it does have access to Nasty Plot, and with its defense, I can very comfortably come in and set up on my opponent. Um, I definitely want to do it in the smartest way possible for sure, but I at least have that option of doing so if I have to. Um, and with its ability Mummy, it cripples Pokemon that depend on their ability, and it also gives you the benefit of crippling those Pokemon that have just really weird abilities, especially in the Ubers tier. So that's going to be much appreciated as well. Um, so yeah, Kafagrigus was definitely a good choice here. And I mean, it's basically just another mon that can take hits and help my team come in and just sweep. Um, but yeah, I'm very happy with this choice. Not a lot of options at this point in the draft, but like I said, it's at this point I feel like I overloaded defensively, and that was just me reverting back to that whole bulky team mentality, which I'm trying to break out of. I'm trying to experiment with other things. So, but we'll see how this turns out. But I think I kind of remedied this a little bit with my final pick. Yeah, guys, we finally made it to the end of the video. I am so sorry, but this is it's Dugtrio. Dugtrio is definitely a very popular Pokemon in the Ubers tier. I played a few randos. I played a few teams in the Uber, a few games in the Uber on Showdown, and I did notice that Dugtrio was in there a lot on a lot of different teams. But the reason I picked Dugtrio was because I needed something fast and I needed something powerful to compensate for those for a lot of those defensive picks. And I think I made a good choice with Dugtrio. 120 speed and 100 attack. Yeah, attack's not the best, but but it definitely threatens a lot of Pokemon, and I think it remedies that with its ability Arena Trap. So because I have to, it's even just good just to go in and just hurt a few of their mons, just make a dent on them. And but I think with Dugtrio, I made that's going to help me out a lot, especially if I don't really have a viable strategy to take on some mons. At least Dugtrio is there to help me out a little bit. And I mean, it can take on some threats that are dangerous to my team. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a good choice. I do like its offensive presence in my team, so that'll be really nice. So yeah, that's the end of the draft, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Definitely please subscribe to my channel. Week 1 is against my good friend Travis, the Mars area frenzy plants. Really, as you guys saw during season 2, Travis just came in and just completely wiped the floor with a lot of us. He was a force to reckon. He was a big, huge, dangerous force in season 2, and Travis did definitely create waves here. So I feel a lot more confident with my team this season. So we'll definitely make it hard on Travis to try and get. We're gonna make it hard for him to win, and hopefully I come out on top in this first match. I've been looking forward to facing Travis for sure. But yeah, guys, definitely look forward to my next video. it'll come out sometime next week, right before, right after I'm done with my match with Travis. Um, so yeah, just expect a couple videos there. And yeah, please definitely subscribe to my channel. And yeah, thank you so much. And please leave any comments. Definitely answer the question of the day. And yeah, if you guys feel like I missed a few things, or certain strategies that you guys have with some of these specific bonds, a lot of these bonds are new to me. So any advice that you guys have is definitely going to be greatly appreciated. So definitely don't be afraid to leave a comment down there. I definitely want to improve as a trainer, and we can only do that if we all work together as a community. So I'm really so I'm hoping you guys will help me out here. Also, yeah, definitely let me know different ways to improve my videos. This one's definitely better than my last couple ones. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys, or I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you.